in Mumbai who met Srila Prabhupada and became a devotee. And he was a big industrialist. And in fact, after becoming a devotee, his fortune multiplied. And in the beginning, when sometimes, like you said, he would have to go to a hotel, there would be a banquet, meeting people in business. And in the beginning, he would say, I don't take alcohol. They bring around drinks. I don't take alcohol. Why not? What's wrong with alcohol? And there'd be a fight. He said, I don't eat meat. Why not? What's wrong with eating meat? There'd be a fight. Then he understood that this type of argument is not really helping anyone. So he devised a different strategy. So as soon as he would get there, he'd go straight to the and get a that looks like it would hold alcohol. And he'd pour in 7-Up or something that looks like alcohol and a couple of ice cubes, and he'd be floating around the crowd with his glass, and they thought it was champagne or whatever. As far as the meal, he would phone ahead and say, I'm allergic to meat, fish, and eggs. And instead of arguing like they used to, they would become very sympathetic. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, what can we make for you? What can you have? And then he would tell them what, yes, we'll do that for you. We'll be happy to do that for you. No trouble at all. And it turned around the whole mood. So there are ways. We don't want to make people defensive. We don't want them to feel threatened. We're just offering something. Just offering something. If people like it, they can try it, they can accept it. If they don't like it, they hate it. That's fine. That's up to them. We're just offering it to them. We're not trying to impose anything on them.
But suppose a friend of yours invites you for dinner. He is not in Krishna consciousness, or he or she, and they have made the food to kind of so now you apply your principle and say that, okay, well, you don't eat that food because though he is warmly invited you for dinner, but now you cannot start challenging that, like, I have some kind of issue. I cannot take the meat. Right? You cannot cut the line like this, right? So, I'm appreciating what you're saying, but at the same time, these are other social norms that you cannot kind of, it's almost an insult to the host, right?
It's did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just, my personal journey has been one where I had to almost sever certain social ties that were not in sync with my spiritual journey. And I was comfortable doing that. And my husband and kids were extremely supportive. Right now, my husband is a Stanford alumni. They're watching the game and I joined, and they were okay with it. So I think at the end of the day, where there's a will, there's a way. If you're really serious about going towards God and making that connection, you will find ways around it. When I go to people's homes for dinner, and if I know that the vibrations don't match mine, I will eat at home and go. And I tell them, just wasn't feeling up to it today, or I had an upset stomach. They don't question you. I'm not there to please them. I'm not there to get accepted by them. I'm here to please God. You know, my personal journey, sorry, but I have really found that when you sincerely seek God and you have that purity of heart to go towards Him, He gives you all the support you need. I have met the most spiritual people in my life. Amazing people that I've met on the street, and there's been a soul connection. So God comes to you. When you go to take one step towards Him, He takes 10 steps towards you, and I have witnessed.
Wonderful.
A question that turns out to be somewhat relevant. And the question was, chanting is in the vocal cords, it's in the mind. Devotion is in the heart. It's possible to do chanting very rote without really connecting. And so the question was, what was the way for opening the heart so that devotion can ride the wave of chanting? And it strikes me as very apropos in terms of what you're eating. What's important is what's in the heart. And to ride that wave, I think anything you take, if you offer it, can become listened. That would be my take on it. The question for me was, what was the path of opening the heart?
Yes, that is a very good question. And in fact, there is in the beginning, everyone can chant. And pretty much everyone will feel bliss. That is, it's because we're innocent. It's because we're innocent. But it can happen that it becomes mechanical. In fact, just today, I was listening to a tape of Srila Prabhupada speaking, and he was talking about the chanting. But he said if you do it mechanically, it won't have the effect. But then he did say if you keep doing it, even mechanically, it will have effect, but it will take longer. So there are, you could say, two stages of proper chanting. In the beginning stage, and you know, we have our ups and downs. You know, one day we can be up, the next day we can be down. 1 hour we can be up, the next hour we can be down, and the next hour we can be up again. So that's true of chanting. But the process is to chant with attention. In other words, to carefully articulate each syllable and to hear each syllable. In that effort, we are almost certain to find that our mind wanders. And as the Bhagavad Gita says, the Bhagavad Gita is the basic textbook of yoga, which is available here. The Bhagavad Gita says that from wherever your mind wanders, you should bring it back upon the self. So it's like that. We're chanting, suddenly our mind is somewhere else. We bring it back to the sound of the mantra. But after doing that for some time, the mantra, who's Krishna, this is the very important point, on the absolute platform, the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are the same. Like on the material platform, in the relative world, say you're in the desert and you're dying of thirst, and you chant water, 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 water. Well, chanting water, water is not going to quench your thirst, because the word water and the substance water are different. But in the spiritual realm, in the absolute realm, the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are the same. So when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna is actually present. He's dancing on your tongue. Now, when we chant as a regular spiritual practice, we're not just articulating words. We are, in a way, but we are invoking the presence of Krishna, who's alive, who's conscious, who's personal. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ye tamam prapadyante, as they surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. So, making that effort to articulate and hear every syllable, oh, this person is making an effort. And reciprocate. You could say he gives you some mercy, because we don't have it in our power to control our mind. Even Arjuna says in the Bhagavad Gita that it appears more difficult to control the mind than to control the wind. You just can't control it. So that takes help from Krishna. But when he sees you making that effort, he helps. And when you feel his help, you experience his reciprocation, then you know that he's there. And then the chanting, and this is a little higher stage, then in chanting, you're actually calling his name. It's a prayer. It's actually a prayer. You're calling his name. Now, if anyone, if you call my name, what is your name?
Eric.
Eric. Yes, Eric, what do you want? So you're calling Krishna's name, and if Krishna answers, yes, what do you want? So what will you say? Now, a true spiritualist will not ask for anything material. People do, because the chanting does have that power, but it's a total misuse of the power of the mantra. Krishna says, what do you want? An A on my finals. I mean, you may get the A, but you could get a lot more than just an A on your finals. You know, a job with Google. Well, that's safe. So, but someone who really is serious about self-realization, what will he ask for? He will ask to serve Krishna, to realize Krishna, to love Krishna. But it's also acceptable to ask for something that's part of the process for realizing Krishna. So the prayer can be as direct as, please help me to be attentive when I chant your name. You know, it's amazing. It's how immediate the results can be. Or please help me to give up pride. Please help me to give up envy. Please help me to give up anger. Please help me to be a better servant. Please help me to give up judging people. You know, whatever it is, and it's immediate. It's miraculous. But it may not come in exactly the way you might anticipate. Like we had a retreat for chanting, like basically nothing but chanting for for 3 days. I mean, we'd have meals and things, but, so I prayed to be more humble. And then, you know, during a break, someone said something that was like so intelligent and so realized. It was very humbling. I mean, sometimes if someone excels us, we can feel envy. I mean, outwardly, we can appear, oh, but inwardly, why him? Why not me? It should have been me, not him. So that was humbling. And, but then it occurred to me, you know, that's what I was praying for. I was praying to be free from praying to become free from pride. I was praying to be like that. I'm a servant. Then someone comes up to me and needs directions to a place. So, all right, I start, well, you know, you go straight, and when you get to such and such point, you turn left. And, you know, it's going to be hard for that person. I'm just going to walk with the person there. And, oh yeah, I pray to be a better servant. Krishna's reciprocating this. He's giving me an opportunity to be a better servant. So it happens, but it's a full reciprocation with Krishna, who is identical with his name. It's not exactly, I mean, yeah, it is partly, he's in the heart, so he can give you humility and other things, but it's also, he creates arrangements that are favorable for you to fulfill your spiritual aspirations that you've prayed to while chanting. You don't have to interrupt the chanting of the mantra, but you're calling out his name. And when you call out his name, it's implied that you want his attention. So for what? Either you can ask directly for service, for love, for Krishna and all living beings, or for something that will be favorable to you achieving that goal. Yes?
Can I share my experience a little bit for a couple of minutes?
Sure.
We're almost at 9 o'clock.
All right, so I try to think of it as a scientific approach, chanting. So what I study is there's the throat chakra and the heart chakra, right? So if you do Hari Hari, and then it comes out from throat chakra and then goes from the heart chakra and the throat chakra and comes out. Even the Hari, I think vibration, it comes from the heart. When you say Hari Hari, it comes from inside. And then that's how it activates your heart chakra, which is when they do God inside you, and then it gives you happiness. So it's a 100% scientific. Hari Hari chanting is coming out from your heart. It's like vomiting, but it's a very good thing. I'm not meaning the bad. It's like also a submission, like you're letting everything out. So whatever you had issues back in the days, like you sad, you feel lonely, you're heartbroken, everything's gonna come out because it releases everything from inside. I think that's what I feel.
That's true.
I think we should stop here.
Okay.
Swami will stay here, and while we'll all get our meal and everything, you can talk to him further. He also we have some of his books that he's written on this table here, and I see some DVDs also there. But he'll be signing books if you'd like to purchase one of his books. We also have other books on this table. We have Bhagavad Gita, which he was talking about tonight. And we also have this book, The Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is a prose, like a storybook form telling of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Basically the greatest treatise on Krishna that exists in the world, the great Purana, the best of all the great Puranas, and one that focuses on Krishna. So this is like the life story, most of the life story of Sri Krishna in book form. And if you read it, you'll learn all the pastimes, all of what Krishna did while he was on earth. But also you'll understand what it is how it is that Krishna can be a person and also be the supreme, infinite, absolute truth. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna explains himself, and he explains the philosophy of yoga and karma and reincarnation and meditation and everything. So these books by Swami Prabhupada are available. We also have some vegetarian cookbooks and other books. We want to thank the Bhakti Yoga Club of Stanford University and also the Pacific Learning Alliance for making this lecture series possible. We have another lecture on September 17th, that's Monday, with Radhanath Swami. He's been here twice before, and he's always, how should I say, blown the roof off the house. And so you should please not miss this one on Monday, September 17th. Prasadam is outside. You can just go outside and get a plate and then come back inside and enjoy.